Well folks, after about a good month or so delay, we're back on the four-wheel drive project again. And as you can see here, I finally got the transmissions down here in the garage laid out on the floor. And I got tires on them, and the back one is going to end up with tires like this on them. I have another set to pull off a tractor, but for now I do like the look at these ag tires. So as you can see, I have it laid up on some I-beams just to get everything in line, and I got a drive shaft in here to see how it looks. And what I'm thinking is I'm probably going to end up building the same exact swivel and articulation joint as the other two four-wheel drives got. So what I did is I just went up on the hill and I pulled this out of the Model L four-wheel drive along with the drive shaft. And what we're going to do today is we're going to bolt this up in the center and see what we have for turning room and everything like that, and width, because I don't want to get this tractor too long because it's already pretty wide as it is, or pretty lengthy as it is. So we're going to keep the pivot point right over here on the drive shaft like it is built on that, so that way we don't have to have a lot of expansion and contraction room when you go to turn, so you don't have to have a long drive shaft in the middle. I also got the Kohler 16 horse over here on the bench. I just put the gasket in behind the adapter plate, so that's been tightened down and everything, that's ready to go on. I did not put the sheet metal oil pan on yet because it's an odd shape and it's hard to store it, so I just have it sitting on a 4x4 now. When this engine goes on the transmission, then it'll get the oil pan bolted onto it. But for now, I'll just leave it off. So anyways, we got these transmissions spread apart some, and we can start bolting up the articulation joint. Well, the clip you guys just saw was from about a week or so ago, and since then, as you can see, I got both of these transmissions hooked up in the center with the Model L four-wheel drive articulation joint, and I also got the engine drive fitted on here for now. I just got these top two bolts in the adapter plate. So it's actually sitting pretty nicely right now. It's a pretty good length and everything, and looked it over for quite a while a couple weeks ago, and it looks like this articulation joint's going to work because you have plenty of turning room and the tires are still a fair amount apart. So that's going to work out nice. So in the meantime, among everything else that's been happening around here, I've been starting to make the swivel plate for the articulation joint, because these grooves take quite a while to make. I think it takes about 3 hours to make a plate last time I did it. 2 maybe, because I have to file this groove out. I don't have a milling machine. So that's going to be going together. I'll be picking away at this center joint little by little and get everything ready to be welded up. And we also figured out our hydraulic steering. We're probably going to be having a 1-inch round pin here, and then some sort of bracket that comes off of these two bolts here. So your piston will be at an angle like this to steer it. But there'll be more to come on that later. Main thing is getting the center joint done. And as for the engine, I did get this dry mounted. As I said, I did not put the high-low planetaries in the front though, because I want to put this engine all the way back together, get the oil pan on it, because that's still missing. And I want to start it up and run it, make sure it's going to run okay with the fresh rebuild that it has, and that everything will work out. And then once that happens, I'll take it off, throw in the high-low planetaries, and then button it all back up so it's ready to go. So in the meantime, I'll be bouncing back between that and the engine, and we can see how far we can get. But as I get more progress, I'll be checking back with you guys. Well folks, here we are a couple weeks later, and as you can see, I have some stuff jigged up here on the I-beam, getting ready to weld some stuff up and see how much we can get done today. But it's all squared off, ready to go, so I can weld both sides of that. So we'll be doing those, and those are for the swivel joint in the middle. I also got the swivel plate done. Finally got the groove all filed out and all my holes drilled and tapped. I still have to cut the hole in the center with the torch for the PTO, but that can come later because it's not real important right now. Until I go to mount it, that is. I got these bars done for the center. Got the grease fitting holes all drilled and tapped. So those are all ready to go. But we're going to be welding up these today and make sure we can get these done, because when you build this swivel joint, you have to work from that plate there backwards in order to have everything line up and come out right. So I got the welder rolled outside. I'll bring this out and we'll start welding. So I got the swivel hitch plates all welded up, as you can see, top and bottom and everything, and I have them mounted to the advanced casting swivel plate, and you can see I got the bushings all mounted in them and everything. And what I did is I trued them up on the plate. I got them all square with the corners and everything, so they're all on center, and I was able to get the inside measurement here on the inside of the plates, which is 5 9/16. So what I can do is I can cut my side braces, which is a 2-inch flat bar, and I can tack that onto here. So now I'll have my swivel hitch, and now that I have that inside diameter, I have my outside diameter also here and here, which means I can start making my articulating hitch, which would be this here. And this is almost a full set of drawings for the 4-wheel drives that I made. So this is the swivel hitch. For what those of you who don't know, this is what it's going to look like. I got my side braces here, and I got to cut a notch out for the drive shaft for when it turns and everything. I also have to get my gussets made at some point, and those are going to get welded on right here. So this is going to be all for part 4, and hopefully coming up in part 5 we can get this whole center joint all done and mounted on the tractor, so that way we can start moving this around and stuff, and we can also begin working on the hydraulic steering, get that all squared away. So that's all for now.